Well, I'm going to present to you something I guess I'm intimately familiar with, which is actually construction cost. I know about construction costs on large projects, also condominiums, also residential, whether it's small or large. And actually, typically, the direct construction cost of the house is about 49% of the price. You got your impact fees, your land, your infrastructure, the site development is all figured into that. And of the 49% direct construction cost, actually the shell of the house is actually the minor part. It's when you're putting in all the drywall, the wiring, the plumbing, the cabinets, the fixtures, the doors, the windows, the flooring, and all that. There's a lot that can really add up. The shell of the house isn't that much money. So here I'm going to be talking about container houses, right? Shipping container houses. Now, I'm going to say there's other things, though, where these have a major benefit. It may be true that the shipping container house is probably not going to save you that much money on initial construction. But let me just present this right away. I could tell you this right now. Actually, when people build houses, where they make the most money on is options. And also the higher end houses. Actually just changing a couple things on the roof line and stuff, they can really jack up the price, and it doesn't really cost them that much money. And they especially make like way over 50% profit on options almost all the time. But so if you keep it simple and you can add on options later, that's not usually a big deal. But one option you don't want to skimp on, I guess, is insulation. But the thing is, with a container house, one of the things you don't have a problem with is like the hidden cost. A lot of the hidden costs. Because first off, your insurance should be less money for a house like this. Because really nothing can go wrong with it. I mean, it's practically tornado proof. I mean, you could have a tree fall on it unless it's a tremendously big tree. It's not going to go through the roof. It's not going to... I mean, shipping containers, you really probably should get brand new ones versus getting used ones, but unless the used ones are in very great shape, because the used ones could have chemicals in the floors and stuff, unless maybe you want to seal that. But, that's a little bit other details. But actually I want to talk about, the hidden cost. Because, yeah, it's true, maybe the shipping container house might cost you almost as much as a regular house, and you're thinking, well, it looks kind of like a shipping container, no matter how much you jazz it up, I mean, if you freaking put different colors on it and whatever, and little awnings and stuff. And actually, you can go a little bit more than that. I mean, you could put two of these shipping containers spaced 20 feet apart, and you could put a peak roof on it, and then it doesn't really look like a shipping container house because you have a peak roof. But the point is, the shipping container is made out of, 10-gauge steel plus reinforced bars in it. It definitely is not going to break. It's far stronger than anything out there that's built in regular construction of houses. And for that reason, your insurance should be less. And if it isn't less, I'd argue with those bastards and find another insurance company where it's less money. The other thing is maintenance. I'd say, well, roofs can last from 20 to 30 to 40 years. But how easy it is going to be put a roof on a shipping container house? It's going to be nothing. You get out there with a roller or something with, special shipping paint. It's rust proof and everything, or chassis saver or whatever you put on there, for automotive use that stops rust. You're not going to have a problem. And, there's not really any noise that you see and hear inside the house because it's insulated. You're not going to get that clanging noise and all that type of stuff. But the thing is, there's a lot of catastrophic things that happen, especially today with, weather situations. There's, up in Boston, what do they have? 100-something inches of snow. They're probably going to get that every year. New York State, same type of thing. Upstate Pennsylvania. These type of houses would be the type of house to have as long as it's well insulated, and you can insulate these type of structures very easily with different types of styrofoam insulation. But my point is, one of the biggest complaints they got about houses is the hidden costs. There's so much crap that can go wrong with them. I mean, forget about it. I mean, there's like, there's siding issues, there's termite issues. You got to spray for that. You got mold issues. Say for instance, one thing too. I mean, something really crazy where the land was unstable and part of the land fell away. I mean, your shipping container wouldn't break in half. That's one of the things you're seeing out in California. You're seeing that problem with sinkholes. You're seeing unstable land due to fracking all over the country. You're not going to have a problem with a shipping container. I mean, it'll go crooked, but then you can move it or, jack it up, put some concrete under it, and you're good to go. It's not going to break the structure. And, it would have to be a tremendously big tree to damage one of these things. And even if it did damage it, it's not going to be anywhere near like a total demolition like it would be on a house. So for instance, you really could argue about your homeowner's insurance being a hell of a lot less money. But you're not going to be out there constantly painting this house or doing all kinds of maintenance on it, and it's simple. It's simple. And a lot of people just won't go for it because they don't like the way it looks. That's the thing. But on the inside, you never know. You never know the difference. So as far as practicality goes, and really clobbering those hidden costs, your container house is the way to go. It's definitely. And actually, even when they put all the plumbing in here and the wiring and stuff, a lot of it's going to be easy access because it's not going to be, well hidden in the walls the way it would be in some of the regular houses. Because I know sometimes in regular houses they got pipes going under slabs and all kinds of garbage going on. And yeah, this could be on a slab, but then you can make it different ways too. If you're the one that's in charge of the construction on his house, you can make it so it's not necessarily on a slab. It's up off the ground a foot or something like that. So you got easy access to all the electrical. You have easy access to all the plumbing and all that type of stuff. And the other thing is too, if you want to keep those big steel doors on it, you can close them up and have super security, whereby you don't have a big large pane window. But there's a lot of different things you could do. You can add, you can use one of the structures, the 40-foot containers, and make it into a large open patio. There's a lot of stuff you can do with these things, but the real beauty of them is it's those hidden costs, they call them. Maintenance, upkeep, insurance, taxes. I almost guarantee you taxes on this house would be less. And if you can really work the deal with the city and tell them, well, I bought it for this much, maybe you could tell them it depreciates faster too. Because, if there's not I just don't think it's going to be a popular thing, because it's not going to be a popular thing with the people that want to play like they're special. But for practical-minded Americans, I think the container type house is probably one of the better things to do, and it could be as crazy as you want. I mean, it could almost be going a hippie. Like, this is not hippie with pink polka dots, but man, you could really go some psychedelic freaking paint jobs on it, as long as you're not in a homeowners association. You can do whatever the hell you want with it, man. You can paint it up worse than a freaking 1968 Beetle during the height of the hippie movement, and it could be damn cool if you want it. Psychedelic all over the place on the inside and the outside, and you never know it was a shipping container. But it's like I say, a lot of people don't realize about all the hidden costs involved in home ownership, and there's a lot of maintenance, man. I'm always doing maintenance on stuff, man. I put my own roof on. I put double underlayment before I put the freaking roof on. I fixed all kinds of junk, man. I can't think of what I don't ever hire anybody to do it. I do all my stuff myself, electrical, whatever the hell it is. But, if you got a shipping container, man, it's like, it's basically bomb-proof, man. It's weatherproof. It's tornado-proof. It's snowstorm-proof. How many times now you've been seeing up north where people having to shovel snow off their roofs because it's too heavy? This thing can handle 10 feet of snow, no problem. It'd just be an insulator. It wouldn't do anything. It wouldn't hurt it. It wouldn't hurt it in a million years, because These things can have shipping containers stacked upon shipping containers upon shipping containers. It's made to be stacked up with full shipping containers. I mean, 10 feet of snow is nothing to freaking a shipping container. But for a house, that would be a roof cave in. They're designed to be out there on the ships out in the middle of the sea. They might have 50 knot winds, which is like over 60 miles an hour, I think. What is that, 58 miles an hour, hurricane force winds? That's pretty typical being out there in the ocean when a ship is moving along. Hey, no problem for a shipping container. So, your insurance should be a lot less. Your maintenance costs should be a lot less. Your property taxes actually should be a lot less, too. And you'll spend a lot less time working on your house if you have this type of house. So you have more free time to do whatever you need to do. So, there's a lot to be said for it. It's just not, I just think the designers, well, in some cases, the designs look pretty good. One of the things now this I actually kind of like because of the garden on the roof type deal. That's a pretty slick idea because you'll see a lot of that in Japan. There's flat roofs up in Japan. That's pretty much most of the structures are built like that. The houses and the apartments, they have flat roofs. And you'll see up on the roof a lot of potted plants and gardens. And it's a perfect place to grow things. And you can make a lot of use of that area. Now, if you're on a regular, slanted roof with a 12-degree pitch or whatever the hell it is, you're going to have something. You're not going to be able to do that, and you're not going to be able to be walking around on shingles. But on a type of this type of house, you could do that. Especially if you have an area where there's 3 of them, and they're 10 feet wide and they're 40 feet long. You got a 30 by 40 garden area up there. That's a pretty good size area, especially with the potted plants. So, and it's safe from all the small animals and everything. It always gets good sunlight. And it makes use of a space that normally doesn't support plant life. What do you see in the suburban neighborhoods? All those rooftops, no grass growing on there. They can't be. But you could do that with these. So there's a lot to be said to them. And, even if you don't put the garden up on the top, you got a whole another second story with a rooftop balcony for sunbathing or whatever the hell you want to do. And, it's just another area. You can have a picnic up there, barbecue, or whatever the hell you want. So it's a lot more useful in so many ways. But, I know there's a lot of detractors out there telling you that actually the final cost, is fairly close to a regular house. And that's true. Because just direct construction cost of a house, it's 49% of the total retail price. But, the shell is part of the direct construction cost. That's actually the minor cost of the direct construction cost. Direct construction cost is like, the whole insulation, your drywall, your flooring, your cabinets, your bathroom fixtures, your doorways, your mirrors, your windows, your doors, even your appliances. Well, maybe that's not your direct construction cost, but that's when you add up all those things with all the wiring and the plumbing and all that and everything else, cabinets and kitchen, that could really add up a lot. Bathroom, that could add up a lot. Windows and doors are a lot with all the insulation. So I mean, that's why the shell itself, you're saving on the shell, but it's not that much. But you're getting a lot more use out of the house this way, the way it's designed with that flat roof. And it's also so much stronger and so much more well built, let's say the same thing, that you're not going to have problems with weather. You're not going to have a problem with heavy snowfall caving in the roof. You're not going to have a problem with it blowing down with a tornado or hurricane, tree falling through the roof. And you should have a big discount on your insurance for that. And I'd argue with the hell with them, if they don't give you a discount on it. And also considering that, their property taxes should be lower too. It should still be a little bit lower anyway, overall cost. So, and then you're making use of all these things that they normally don't have any freaking market for. Shipping containers, used shipping containers. Probably better to get a new one, but, either way. If it's in good shape and the floors are treated and detoxed That'd be the main thing you'd have to watch for. But the thing is, it really should drop your hidden cost and your maintenance cost a lot. And that's the worst thing about freaking owning houses: hidden cost and maintenance cost. It isn't just your mortgage. The mortgages, that's all. That's why people only figure on one thing. They don't really figure on all the other stuff. I mean, a car's got more. I mean, a house can have way more expenses than a car. You know, it's not like you just buy a car and you got car payments. You know that, right? It's the same thing with a house. I mean, for one, what about termite treatments? You can have termite treatments on this? No. Shouldn't have any problem with that. You know, is the wood going to rot? Is there going to be water problems where there's going to be infiltration of water and it'll rot out all the wood on the inside if there's a small roof leak? No, it's not going to have those kind of problems. It's going to cost you a hell of a lot less money in the long run, big time. But I know there's a lot of people who wouldn't go for it, but they could do what they want. But you know, I can tell you one thing: there is a lot of beauty to getting this type of house, because overall it should last an extremely long time. I mean, as long as the paint is on there, maintained well enough, and the type of paints they got last 15, 20 years, you put it on there with an electric sprayer, and it's rust-proof, sun-proof, UV-proof. Very easy to do. It's maybe cost you $100 or so in paint, and you're done. You know, it's just like painting a ship. I mean, it's not going to, the steel is not going to deteriorate that fast, especially with 10-gauge steel with reinforcements left and right. I mean, it's really strong stuff. But, and the other thing is, even if it did have a problem in one area, it could be fixed. And it's not going to be like wood, where wood is... See, I don't know why they don't make houses out of freaking pressure-treated wood with the boron treated. I don't know why. I think I do know why, because part of the reason is that kind of wood warps a little bit too. But there's a lot of disadvantages of like wood houses. I mean, one little bit of water infiltration, and you got yourself a $25,000 repair on just part of the house. I mean, it's ridiculous. You're not going to have that kind of problem with something like this. You're not going to have a roof cave in. You're not going to have a tornado demolish it into a million pieces. You're not going to have unstable soil crack off half the house into the freaking, down 3 feet because of unstable soil, like what's going on all over in California because of the drought. They got all kinds of unstable soil, and it's causing foundation problems in a house. You're not going to have a problem with this. Even if you had a cracked foundation, it's not going to crack the house. It's just going to be the foundation where it's bolted to and mounted to. So you got a hell of a lot less maintenance cost and hidden cost involved in one of these type of houses. Even though the initial cost for the house is not going to be that much less. Because, you still got to put electric in it, you got to put plumbing in it, you got to put insulation in it, you got to put the kitchen fixtures in it, cabinets, you got to put all the bathroom fixtures, and you have to put, the doors, the windows, the flooring, the lighting, that's really, there's more, when you're looking at the direct construction in a house, that's in the whole price of the house is 49% of it is about direct construction. The smallest part, and basically maybe the biggest one item, is the shell of the direct construction, but the shell is less than half the 49% of the overall direct construction. So you don't save that much when you actually build these type of houses, but you do initially. But you do save a lot on hidden cost and maintenance costs. And that's the thing that gets people, the hidden cost and maintenance cost. And that's the things everybody miscalculates on. So there's a lot to be said for these shipping container houses. They're pretty practical. And, as they get more, creative with the designs and maybe add some like wooden peaks to different structures and how they can be put together in different ways in conjunction with, wooden peak structures, or trusses, it's going to look not like a shipping container at all. So, and the other thing is, even if you leave the flat roof, you got a lot more space out there for either a patio or a garden on top of your house. And you just don't have that on a regular house, especially if you have a small lot. If you have a small lot, so you got I don't know, a 60 by a 100-foot lot, this would be perfect because you got all that roof space you can use. That would be perfect. So a lot of people aren't thinking outside the box, so to speak. Even though it's a box, yeah, it's a box. But hey, they're not. They don't think. They don't think. And I'm not a salesman for this. I don't have one of these, but I was almost thinking about getting one of these if I got another property someplace. And because I'm not going to be there that much, if I was any other property, I want something that could be locked up and secure, but not worry about damage too easily. And but the thing is, I think it's a good idea for any type of home, whether it's a second home or a first home. People just aren't thinking in a pragmatic way, and it's actually very environmentally friendly too, because what other house can you actually make use of the roof and actually plant stuff on the roof in potted plants? You can't. Not with a slanted roof. You can't. Flat roof you can, just like in Japan.